Hi, welcome. Thanks for stopping by today. I'm excited to share with you one of my family's most favorite recipes for breakfast. It's our homemade cereal and our granola. I'm going to do both of them today to knock them out for my family for the next couple weeks. It's super delicious and one of our favorites. I've been trying to make our own cereal to avoid all the nasty ingredients of the other ones that you can find in the store, and then all the healthy ones are so expensive, and I just don't want to spend that kind of money on one box of cereal that is literally going to last my family for one breakfast, if that. They're still hungry afterwards, so it's not really worth it to me. So I've been trying to figure out how we can bring cereal into our home but have it be healthy, nutritious, and still really yummy. So the first thing with our homemade cereal is I buy these Nature's Path or Arrowhead Mills grains, so puffed cereals. I usually find them at our local grocery store, and they usually have a really good sale on them every now and then, and so I just stock up on them and store them in the basement and use them as needed. They don't have anything else other than the puffed cereal. So this is corazon, or which is kamut. I have rice puffs, puffed corn, and puffed millet. To start this cereal out, you need a really large bowl. I'm gonna start out with 4 cups of rolled oats and kind of go from there. I might add a little bit more, I'll let you know. After that, I'm just gonna add in the puffed grains. To be honest with you, I kind of just eyeball this. I kind of like to see a good variety of the puffed cereals and the oats. Sometimes I'll add a whole bag, sometimes I'll add half. So I think with the rice puffs, I'm going to start off with half of the bag right now. I'll do the same with the kamut, half of the bag. And same with the puffed millet. We love this puffed corn, and we kind of think it makes the cereal the best. And so I'm going to add the whole bag. I might add the second one as well. Let's see where we're at. I can tell that I'm good in oats. I don't want to add any more of that because I don't necessarily want it to be a granola. I want oats in it, but I don't want it to be granola. So I think I'm going to add more of the puffed corn. I can usually get these bags for under $3. I can either buy them in bulk through Azure Standard or get them at the local grocery store when they're on sale. So that's a really good price. When I'm only using half of the bag and I have a massive bowl of cereal that will have, it's a really good price and saves me a lot of money. So I just have back here on the stove, I have some avocado oil and honey, about 1.5 cups of avocado oil and 1.5 cups of honey. I just usually do 1 to 1. I'm going to stir it, and I actually don't know if I'm going to use all of this in my cereal. I think that I might save some of it because I'm also going to be making our granola, and I want to save some of this for that. You want to stir it up though because the oil and the honey has separated right now, and if I just poured it in, all of this would have the oil and all the granola would have the honey. Okay, I think I poured about half of this in there. We're gonna start off with that. That would probably be 3/4 cup of oil and 3/4 cup of honey. Once you see every little piece is kind of coated with the oil and the honey, you know that you're good with the liquid. I don't want a lot of the oil and honey, but I want it enough to where when I bake it, it's going to get nice and crispy and have a little sweetness to it. Since this cereal is already puffed, we're not necessarily cooking it for very long. We're just cooking it to get it toasted. I'm gonna add a half of a teaspoon, maybe a little bit more of salt to it, about a teaspoon of cinnamon. Give that a good mix. Sometimes I add nuts to this. For today, I'm not going to. I'm gonna hold off on the nuts and save them for the granola. Go ahead and taste one. That's good. Perfect sweetness. Here's where you also need a big pan. I got this pan at Costco. It's the Nordic ware. And it's perfect for things like this. One more. There's my oven preheated. You can tell this process is so simple. It's so easy, really fast. The kids love it. It's delicious. We're gonna have a lot of it. So into a 400-degree oven for about, I would say 15 to 20 minutes, but I'm going to be checking it and giving it a stir and making sure it's evenly toasted every about, 5 to 7 minutes. We're gonna start on our granola. In my pan, I still have some of my avocado oil and honey. I bet it's about a little over a cup, let's say. In my granola though, I want to add some almond butter. We're going to add this for some protein and just some extra flavor. Also to differentiate it from the cereal. Even though this will have oats, it's just nice to have things that are different flavors. My oil and honey are still warm, so this mixes really well. You can also taste it to see if you like the sweetness. All right, I'm gonna set that aside. In my bowl here, I have some cashews, some walnuts and almonds. I have this Braun immersion blender that works really well for this. I don't mind it with big chunks or little chunks of nuts. It's not super evenly chopped, but I don't mind that. In my big bowl here, I'm going to add about 4 cups of oats. Those are pretty full cups. I think I'm gonna add 1 more cup. I have some shredded coconut. Again, I just eyeball this because I've done it so many times, but I'll put the recipe in the description box below. And just for an added crunch, I'm going to add the rest of the puffed millet in the granola. Half a teaspoon of salt. That's probably about a teaspoon of cinnamon. And I'll do about half a teaspoon of ginger. Then I'm going to pour my oil, honey, and almond butter mixture on top. Before I forget, I'm going to give the cereal a stir. All right, give the granola a stir. So kind of same thing as the cereal. We just really want it all coated. Get that oil, honey, and almond butter mixture mixed all around. The puffed millet in here is so good. It gives it a really yummy crunch. I might have more than room for my pan here, so I might have to get another pan out. Granola, you want to spread it a little bit more thinner on the pan just so it gets really toasted. Yeah, I'm gonna get another pan. All right, into the oven. I'll just give everything a little bit of a cleanup and stir the cereal and the granola about every 5 minutes until it's about toasted to my liking. I would say that usually takes around 15 to 20 minutes in a 400-degree oven. All right, there we are. They're finished. We have a lot of homemade cereal and a lot of homemade granola. I'm gonna let them cool in the pan completely, and once they're cooled, I'm gonna put the granola probably in my big mason jar back there on the counter, and my cereal in my plastic 2-gallon bucket with my Gamma lid. It's just an easy way to keep it fresh and accessible for when we wanna use it. I hope you see that homemade cereal and granola, they're very flexible and versatile. You can use whatever really to flavor them, to spice them, any additions, nuts. You could put dried fruit in them right now. We really love the cereal just eaten as cereal with milk and fruit in it. And then we'll use the granola in a lot of different things. We'll do smoothie bowls, chia seed pudding bowls, milk, yogurt, any way you want it. And it's just a good, yummy treat for our family. I hope you see that it's really easy and budget friendly to make your own homemade cereal and granola. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.